Hey guys, and welcome back to a new DIY project. First of all, I want to say thank you for all your support, for the interest and all the messages regarding to my recent SSL preamp video. If you haven't seen it yet, you can watch it here and I will leave a link down below. And many of you have asked for it, now it's finally happening. I'm offering kits. The demand from the last video was so overwhelming that I just go for it. And the best thing is, I have another awesome project for you. This one. An incredible sounding and very versatile vintage preamp based on the preamp circuit from this old East German mixing desk. Those of you who've been following my channel for a while know that I restored this beauty. It is from the 1970s, it's fully discrete, meaning it has in and output transformers, transistor stages, all the good stuff, and it just sounds absolutely amazing. It's no coincidence that this old East German vintage gear is often called the Neve of the East or the poor man's Neve. Same technology was used, and in my opinion it easily holds up to brands like Telefunk and Siemens, or even Neve or API. Unfortunately, the console is way too heavy to take along for mobile recording, what I do most of the time because my studio is too small for tracking drums, for example. So I copied the circuit from this original 70s schematic and I put everything in the 500 format. And today I will show you how you can build this preamp yourself too. You can get the PCB or even a whole kit from me. So let's get started. As always, I designed the circuit board with KiCad. The circuit remains mostly original. I just made a few adjustments to make this preamp even more flexible and to ensure compatibility with currently available parts. I'll tell you more about the components and the features in a moment. Here you can see me assembling the PCB. I started with the smallest components and work my way up. All values are printed on the PCB, and if you have a little bit of soldering experience, it's really easy. Even beginners can do it. The fully equipped PCB should look like this. And last but not least, the transformers go in. They are essential to the character of the preamp sound. There are several options when choosing the transformers, but I will tell you more about that later in the video. For the 12-step gain rotary switch, I designed a second small PCB that is connected with this pin header to the main PCB. First, I mounted the front panel and then soldered the pins to ensure everything fits properly. This time, I decided to have the front panel professionally manufactured. It's anodized aluminum with UV printing, and I really like the final result. And I prefer the bronze look way over the original grey. What do you think? And this is the result. Honestly, I'm very proud of it. It doesn't just sound amazing, but as far as I know, it's also the very first recreation of this preamp, making it a true one of a kind. Everything worked from the very beginning, no calibration is needed, and I'm more than happy how it sounds. Right now I'm talking through it with my Biodynamic M88, and let me show you the features really quick. As you probably know from other analog preamps, there is an input gain and an output potentiometer. And by playing around with this, you can determine the degree of saturation. And believe me, this box is very versatile and can sound very, very dirty. I don't mean just a touch of coloration, but actual saturation, if not distortion. In my next video, I will share more in-depth and professional sound examples from this preamp and also do a comparison to my SSL preamp. But for now, I just want to demonstrate what this preamp can do. Let's start at this setting, kind of a good and clean starting point. The gain is at 5, and when I increase the gain, it will add more and more harmonic saturation. Let's do this. Let's increase the gain, increase the gain, increase the gain, increase the gain. Of course, I have to compensate the volume. By the way, these are 4 dB steps. Maybe one more, yeah. And here I can clearly hear it, how the saturation kicks in, especially when I'm talking louder. When I'm talking louder. When I'm singing louder. Let's overdo it. When I do it louder. Yeah, you drastically can hear it there. When I'm singing louder, there's a lot of saturation. It's kind of an effect. There's a lot of saturation. And back to cleaner setting. There we go. And to make it even more flexible, I added an input impedance switch, like you can find in older Neve designs, for example. There are 3 settings. Technically, what it does is changing the terminating resistor of the secondary winding from the input transformer, for the pros out there. All you need to know is that different impedances, depending on the microphone of course, mainly affect the frequency response, especially in the high frequencies. Medium setting is a standard that always works. Low gives you kind of a vintage vibe with slightly roll off in the high end. And high is the grittiest, since the transformer isn't dampened and you get a little bit of extra sparkle on the top end. So let's toggle between low and high. There will be a little difference in volume, but try to listen to the high frequencies, to the sibilants. To the sibilants, 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 sibilants. There definitely is a big difference. Of course, it depends heavily on the microphone you're using, but it offers a lot of flexibility and it's really fun to experiment with. Since this is a DIY project, there are several ways to build this preamp. It depends how much analog grid you want and how much money you want to spend. You can use different transformers. On the PCB, there are footprints for OEP transformers, or if you want to go for the high-end option, Lundal transformers. But you can use whatever transformer you want. I have left enough space for almost every transformer, including mounting holes and connecting pads. And for the symmetrical output, you can replace the output transformer with a chip, which saves you a bit of money and also gives you the cleanest option. Which is not a bad thing, because there's enough dirt coming from the transistor stage. I personally use the OEP transformers. They are made in the UK and they are relatively inexpensive, but they sound great. And they are not as clean and not as transparent as the Lundals, but in a vintage preamp design, honestly, that's exactly what I'm looking for. You can also choose between different output pots. Any 10 kilo ohm logarithmic potentiometer will work. For your choice, I've created various footprints so you can use either standard pots or the stepped Alps potentiometers, which are a bit more expensive but beautifully made. They feel great and allow precise adjustment. And last but not least, there are 4 coupling capacitors in the circuit. Again, you have enough space to use whatever capacitor type you want. I usually go with the VMAs because they are easily available here in Germany, but you can also do an upgrade and put in a nice MKS or MKP, it's up to you. As I said right at the beginning, I'm selling kits and parts because so many people have asked for it under my last video. You can buy a PCB only if you want to have the real DIY experience with sourcing all the parts, customize everything, or you can buy a full kit where everything is included, from the front panel to the transformers, the parts, everything. Just text me on Instagram or visit my brand new little website. The link is down below. There you will find more information, the prices, and very important, a little contact form where you can reach out directly to me, ask for shipping costs and stuff like that. And of course there also will be a kit for the SSL preamp. Right now I'm waiting for the potentiometers, but I think in 1 or 2 weeks I'm ready to go. So I'm planning a lot more projects. Right now there's a passive EQ in the making. If you don't want to miss out that stuff, make sure you subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments what you think about my preamp and if you think it's worth it to clone the EQ section from this desk as well. So thanks for watching, see you in the next one.